All right, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use Quickbooks to account for Threshing Floor Private Limited. So basically, for you to get started, you just have to enter this address, this IP address into your web browser. In this case, I'm using Chrome, Google Chrome. You can use any browser, Edge, Firefox, Opera, right? It will launch this window. Then on this window, you have to enter your username, right? Then you also enter your password. So you can type in your password there, right? So when you enter your username and the password, you just have to click on log on for you to be launched into the system. So when you click on log on, then the system will initiate a process of logging you in. You just have to give it a few seconds to a minute for it to do the processing. So let's just wait while the system logs us in. All right. Now, automatically our QuickBooks accounting system will begin. Then we are launched into the system. So this is how the login process goes, right? So once we are in, we can now start working. So let's just wait for it to complete the load up, right? So once we are logged in, we are now able to start working. So this is our homepage. This area that you see here, this is our homepage, which are basically shortcuts to the various functions on QuickBooks. Once we are familiar with how QuickBooks works, we can appreciate how these shortcuts works. The same goes with these my shortcuts. The effect is the same. Up here, we've got a menu from file up to help, right? So I'm just going to go, I'm going to be tutoring you using what is up here. So I'm going to be going menu by menu, pointing out things which are important. So under file, there is a number of things, but basically what we normally want to do is to know how to create a backup. So backing up our Kanban file, what it means is that we are putting up a backup which we can use to restore in the event of a problem, a crash with our computer or anything. So we have to come to file, then backup, Kanban file, then create local backup. So when you do that, it will say we've got an option of creating an online backup. We've got an option of creating a local backup. See, we're showing you this, but already this system that you are running, as you can see, it's online. You can access it from anywhere. We've set it up to do automatic backups. So automatically it does backups, but you also need to appreciate how these backups are done. So we say local, then you click on next, then you select a folder. In this case, you can select desktop, then you say okay. Then you click on okay here. Then it may prompt you to say, do you want to change the location of where you want to store the backup, or do you want to use this location? In this case, we're just going to say use this location. Then we'll save it now. Then we just say next. Then we know very well our backup is going to be saved in this folder. Then you just click on save. So the system will run a verification of the data that is verified data integrity. This may take some time. It all depends on the size of your Kanban file, right? As you can see, it has already run the backup and it is done. Now, once the backup is done, we can just say, okay. Now, this system, as I said, is set up to run online. And as I said, we set it up to do automatic backups. But if you wanted to store a local, to store a backup to your laptop, you just come up here, then you click here now. No, not on File Manager. No, you have to come back here. Then you come here where you are to download from server to your PC. So when you click on server to your PC, you find this is where your backup is. Just got that size. Then you just click on OK, right? So when you click on OK, what will happen? The backup will be downloaded to your local hard drive, to your local computer. So the download is been done. Actually, it is not yet complete, so it may prompt you Threshing Floor Private Limited backup. Do you want to delete from history or download? It will say it's insecure, but what you just have to do is to continue the download. So the download will happen here. As you can see, this Kanban file or this backup is being downloaded. If I check, there is progress. So far, it has gone 3.2. Right. So basically, that's how you do a backup and download it to your local computer. It could be a local hard drive, your desktop, any local folder that you want to use. Basically, this is how you do your backup. Right. Then under file again, you'd find we set mod user. Mod user is already set. That is, as you can see, the download is complete. I could check where it is installed. It is downloaded in my download folder. So basically, that's how you do the download. Then under file, you may want to appreciate how you set up printers. So we've got printer setup under that. So if you were to come on printer setup, we've got various documents and reports that needs to be, or that has to be printed. So when you select, like in this case, it's a report, it will show you the printer that will be used. So basically, this is the printer. You don't have to change this printer, because when you command, like if you say OK, you'd find what this printer does. It will redirect you to a window on which you can now select the printer, the actual printer that you want to print to. It could be a Microsoft print to PDF, or it could be a physical printer. So here on the printer is automatically set. It doesn't have to be changed. This system automatically sets the printer. So if I were to print, what can I print? It could be an invoice. So if I were to say, okay, I've set up the printer, it means when I print my invoices, when I print my reports, I'll be redirected to a certain particular printer. It could be Microsoft print to PDF. It could be a physical printer. So that's what we have to know under file. The rest of the things you can experiment with them, but basically those are the two things that we want you to know. Then going to edit, under edit we spoke about preferences. So if you were to come here and click on preferences, this is where you customize your Kanban file. We are not going to be able to customize. Let me just probably cancel and switch to single user mode, because it doesn't allow me to customize things while I am in user mode. So I'm just switching to single user mode. Let's just close that. Then if we were to come to edit, right, that's where we said you are customizing your Kanban preferences. The Kanban preferences of threshing floor investments are already customized, but probably for you to appreciate, we ran through this when we did the initial training. So when you click on the preferences tab, you are taken to the preferences, and as I said, we begin from accounting. Then on accounting, you've got your Kanban preferences, whereby you can leave the defaults as they are. If you want to use account numbers, you can tick on use account numbers, meaning to say when you create, you'll see when you create general ledger accounts, you'll be required to put an account number. If you want to use class tracking, whereby you are using cost centers, you want to allocate a cost to a particular cost center. It could be a department, it could be anything, right? You want to allocate a revenue item to a revenue center, you have to tick on class tracking, right? So for threshing floor, we had not ticked on this because we felt that there is no need to tick those two, right? Then on bills, normally you just leave the bills as they are. On calendar, you leave the preferences as they are. On checking, you also leave the settings of preferences as they are. The same goes on desktop view. You leave the preferences, the default preferences as they are. The same goes on finance charge and even on general, right? Integrated applications, then items and inventory, right? Now, as we discussed, you are not tracking inventory, so there is no need to activate that. On jobs and estimates, again, just leave the defaults as they are. Then on multiple currency, we selected the US dollar as our home currency. Then on payments, we said you just need to remove tick on use and deposited funds. So as I said, these preferences, we had already set them on payroll and employees, nothing to be done there. On reminders, the defaults, you just use those defaults as they are. On reports and graphs, you use the defaults. On sales and customers, you use the defaults. On sales tax, you use the defaults. On search, defaults. On send in forms, you use the defaults. On service connections, you use the defaults. On spelling, you use the defaults. So even on text 1099 and on time and expenses. So the defaults which are there is what you use. As I said, these preferences had already been set. You don't have to change them. Right now, on view, there is nothing there. Then coming to lists, there are a number of things that you do when you want to create a new general ledger account. A new general ledger account is what makes our chart of accounts. So you just have to come on lists, then you click on chart of accounts. It will give you this chart of accounts. So this is a list of general ledger accounts. Now, if for any reasons you discover that a particular account is not there, you can create it by either right-clicking, then clicking on new. Right, we went through this. Then when you click on new, so you have got that option of okay, let me just cancel this. So you have got the option of right-click, new, or you could come here. Let me just remove this. You could come here on account, then you click on new. So the effect is the same. Now, when you do that, you're taken to this window whereby you have to specify the type of account that you want to create. If it is an income account, if it is an expense account, if it is a fixed asset account, if it is a bank account, if it is a credit card account, if it is an equity account, if it is other account type, which are these ones. So you just have to tick on that dot, click on that dot, then it will bring up this. So you have to select if it is other account types, which is not one of these ones which are listed up here. So basically, once you select a type, you just have to say continue. Like in this case, I've selected bank. So it will take me to this. So if you are selecting a bank account, you have to remember to select the currency. But we had already created the accounts which were missing on this chart of accounts. So for now, we don't have to create an account. Now, then coming back again to lists, we have got item lists. Right, on item list, that's where you create the items that you sell, the services and the items that you sell. And you can see we created these items: delivery of goods, Balex, orange, pockets, Everready, battery, dry cell, 20 pp. So these are the various items, and the first one was created as a service, the second one and they were created as non-inventory items. And for you to add a new item, you just have to right click, then click on new, or you have to come here and click on new. Then you have to select the type of the account. So we have got of the item to be created. So we've got type there: service, non-inventory part, other charge, subtotal, and so on. So we said for the purposes of threshing floor, either we're creating a service item or a non-inventory part. Why? Because we don't want to be tracking inventory or to be tracking stock. So once we select that, we just come here, we put in the detail of the item, we again put the detail of the item here. If it has got a fixed rate, we put the rate there. Then we have to come here and select an income account, right? Of which we said, for now, we just said we'll be using gross tracking income, but it has to be changed probably to another name, which could be just income, right? So once we are happy, like if you had put in something here and we put in the description here, we could just click on OK to create the item. But we are not doing that because already we created our items. Now, before I proceed, let me go back to here and show you how to edit an existing account. So as I said, like we have got the income accounts. Let me just go to income accounts. Where are the income accounts? Right, income. So we've got gross tracking income. If you wanted to edit this account to give it a new description, you just have to highlight it, right click on it, then click on edit account. Then we can type a new description there, even a new account name there. Even if you want to change the description, we can change the description as well. So we could give it a new account name, probably income, whatever name which is more appropriate, probably sales. So after watching this tutorial, you have to change that so that it doesn't, suppose you are selling more than, besides issuing tracking services, you are also issuing other services. So it has to reflect that. That is on editing of accounts. So basically on under list, we have looked at chart of accounts, we have looked at item list. Then the other thing that we have to look at is currency list. Now on currency list, I said we have got all these currencies. QuickBooks, what it does, it lists all the currencies that are in the world. Now, if your currency has got an X like this, it means it's not active. If you wanted to make this currency active, we have to just click on it. Then it will take out, you take off the tick, which means this Afghan currency becomes active, but you don't want to use it. And if you don't want to see all this, the whole list, both as you can see down here, it has got a tick on include inactive, meaning to say the inactive currencies are included. So if you don't want to see them, you just want to see the active currencies, you just have to take off this tick. Then you'd see we have these two main currencies, which are the United States dollar and the Zimbabwean dollar. Then, as you know, Zimbabwe has changed its currency from the ZWL to ZIG, or Zimbabwe gold. So you have to add that currency by clicking on. So you are right clicking, then you are clicking on new, right? Then you are typing in the name there, which is Zimbabwe gold. Okay, this is the name of the new currency. Then you are putting in the code there, which is ZIG. This will be a G in caps, right? So that basically your currency. Then you come here, you put in your exchange rate. So you can put in an exchange rate, and as I said, this exchange rate, you are saying 1 divided by the interbank rate. So the interbank rate, I'm assuming, is around 13.5 something. Right, you could use the street rate, or what they term the market rate. I don't know which market is it, the black market, right? Which could be 1 divided by 17. So depending with what you use, so the figure that you get there. So you are loading up a calculator, and the way you're calculating it, let me just load up my calculator there. So you're using a calculator to calculate the rate. So if you were to calculate the exchange rate, you're saying 1, then divided by probably 17. Then you could find this. Then this rate is what you just, you can say select all, then you copy this, right? Then you could just come and paste that rate here. See, okay. So if it can't paste using your mouse, you can just on your laptop, you hold Control key then V, right? So when you hold Control key V, it will paste in your exchange rate. So basically, once you have done that, then just click on OK. This is how you create the ZIG. What it means now, you have to, when you are creating your customers, you have now to designate them as ZIG, because you no longer have ZW. So as you can see, I have added Zimbabwe gold. So I now have got ZWL, and now I've got Zimbabwe gold. I've got now the US dollar. The US dollar is the home currency, the reporting currency. Then these others are sort of foreign currency. So that's how you deal with the currency under currency list. So basically under list, you just need to know about chart of accounts, item list, then the currency list. Those are the items that you are dealing with from time to time. Then on favorites, there is nothing. On accountant, what we have there is your journal, right, which is also under your company. So basically under accountant, normally when you want to do your journal, your general journal, there are general transactions like your depreciation. You could either launch it using accountant, make general journal entries. Then okay, let's just take off that so that it doesn't pop up from time to time. So what it will do is it will show you this journal. You just have to select the currency of the transactions that you want to process. By default, it will pick the US dollar because that's the home currency. Then down here, you'll be putting in the date of the transaction. Which date are you processing this transaction? Then the entry number the general journal entry number. You can always customize this if you want, put another number that you want. Then you run through your journal. In other words, you're picking an account to debit, then you're putting in you're picking an account either to debit, right? Then you are also picking an account to credit. So you have an account which is debited, an account which is credited. Then in here, you put in the description. Then when you're okay, you say save and close. So this general journal can be found under accountant. It can also be found under company. If you come down here, you'll find it. So basically, that's what you want to do there. Now, I'm not going to post anything, so I'm just going to close that. This was just for demonstration. Do you want to record it? No, we are not recording that. See, I'm also closing this window, and I'm also closing that window as well as this one. Then now continuing with our tutorial under company, basically what you need to know is the general journal which I spoke about, and you also need to know how to edit your company information. As you remember, we created our company information and we may not have put in full details as in terms of addresses, phone numbers, and so on. So if you want to edit that information, just have to come on company, then you click on my company, then it will launch this. Then for you to edit this information, you just have to click on this pencil. Then you are able now to either change this name, put additional details under address, select other under country, because Zimbabwe is not there, put the phone numbers, fax numbers, email, website, and all the relevant information. And once you are done, you then have to click on OK. Then that information is updated. Now, I'm not going to do that. I leave that to you. Once you have watched the video, you can update and change that information. Now, see, so we have covered up to company. Now we are going to customers. Under customers, we do a number of things, right? Most of everything that has to do with customers, we do it under this step. So under this step, the first thing that you have to know is how to create a customer. So for you to create a customer, you're saying customers, then you're saying customer sender, then it will take you to this window. Then for you to create a new customer, just have to come on new customer and job, click there, then click on new customer. Then it will launch this window where you can create your new customer. Here, you just have to enter the name of the customer. I'm just putting AA. I'm not going to create this customer. I'm just doing this for demonstration. So you're putting in your customer name. If it is a company, you're putting in the company name. If it is an individual, you're coming here, you're picking their title, you're putting in the first name, you're putting in the last name. Then down here, you're putting in the main phone details, main phone, work phone, mobile number, email details. If there is a website, you also put that. Then down here, you're putting in the physical address of the person or of the company. Now, more importantly, you have to pick the currency to which this customer account relates. Is it a US dollar account? Is it a Zim Gold account? We no longer have the Zimbabwe dollar, so it's either a Zim Gold or a USD account. So you put up that. This is very important. Then you can look at payment steps. Normally here, nothing much, unless if you have got a credit limit, right? Then on sales settings, if you are charging VAT, then you could set up that. Then additional information, if there is any additional information that you want to also set up. So normally this is how you do it. And once you are happy now with the information of your customer, you then click on OK. Then your customer will be created. As you can see, we already have these customers down here. These customers who are here, these are customers who are created. So once you create a customer, the customer will be added here. So we're not going to create a new customer. We already have the customers that we want, but I'm just showing you this so that when you want to create a customer next time, you know how to do it. So I'm going to close this window. Then under customers, again, that's where we do our invoices. So I'm going to show you, okay, how do you do your invoices, your quotations. So we're going to start with quotations, which are basically called estimates by this system. So for you to do a quotation, you're coming here and you're saying create estimates. So when you say create estimates, it will give you this window. Now on this window, once it's launched, what you have to do is to select your customer. So if we want probably to quote Yipo Valley Estate USD, so we are selecting that. It will populate all the information to do with that particular customer. Then we come down here, we put in the quantity, right, of the item that we want to quote. Then we continue item on item code. We pick the item that we are quoting, right? Then here we enter the unit price. So it's very simple. It may prompt me this because I've put probably a different price from the one which I put previously. So I'm just going to, so that it doesn't show me that. So once I'm happy, I can save and close. But probably before I do that, I may want to print. So I may just click on that, then I click on preview, right? So that I see my quotation, and it may bring up this. So I'll just say ignore all. Then again, I can just, so that it doesn't show that again. So this will be my quotation, right? Which I can now print. So if I were to command print there, you could see it will redirect me. It will redirect me to this window, right? So you see this window. This allows me either to print to like in this case, I can print to Microsoft, print to PDF, which means if I command that, it will save this quotation to my computer. Because when I command print, you'll see that it will prompt me to save this to a local folder. So I can select which folder I want to save this quotation. Then I come here, I write the name of the quotation. So in this case, I can just write quotation 170424, meaning to say it's a quotation which I did on 17 April 2024. Then I then click on save. See, so basically this is how you print. If I wanted to print it to a physical printer, it means I was going to select a different printer. On commanding print, it means on destination to select a physical printer that is on destination. If I had a physical printer connected, I was going to select that, then command print. Then my quotation could be printed on that. So basically, this is how you do it. So I'm just going to cancel. Right. So that is that on quotations. And once I have done that, I come and then I click on save and close. Then my quotation is saved. I'm not going to save this quotation. This was just to demonstrate. Then under customers, again, that's where we do our customer invoices. So if I were to do a customer invoice, I come on customers, then I click on create invoices. Right. When I click on create invoices, I'm given this window. Then again, I select my customer, the customer which I want to do an invoice for. And normally, if I had done quotations for that customer, it will prompt me and ask if I want to link a particular quotation to the customer. And if I wanted, I could then just select that. If I didn't, I could click on cancel. Then I have to come and populate these fields, right? So that I put all the information that is relevant. And again, before I save and close, I could then come here, preview this. Then it will actually give me the invoice. And if I wanted to print, command print, because I've got a blank, I didn't put any transaction. So it says I cannot record a blank transaction. So I'll just say, okay, because I don't want to record any transaction. And I'm just going to clear this and close. So basically the sequence which I follow in doing a quotation is the same which we follow in doing this invoice up to printing. Depending with our print process. So I'm just closing that. Then again, under customers, that's where we also do our credit notes, right? We do our credit notes there. So if for any reason a customer comes back and says, okay, I'm returning these goods, it could be physical goods, it could be a service, the customer feels that there has to be a refund, or they are returning physical goods. So we have to do a credit note. So again, we just have to pick our customer, right? So here, there are additionals that we have to do. So we are picking our customer there. Then here we have to put the reference number. The reference number that we have to input there is the invoice on which they bought the goods they are returning. So probably, let's say we supplied goods to them on invoice number 10, and they are returning those goods. It means the reference number will be 10, because that's the invoice on which they bought the goods. Then we have to write the reason here. Why are they returning the goods? Are the goods broken? What is the reason of them returning? So we put in the reason there. Then under here, we then go on, put the quantity which have been returned, the item, and everything else. Then again, we can print and save this item before we save and close. So basically, that's what we do on doing quotations, on doing credit notes, not quotations as such. So do you want to record? I don't want to record, so I'm just going to say no. Then again, under customers, that's where we receive our customer payments. And for us to receive a customer payment, we have to come to customers, then we have to come to receive payments. So when we click on receive payments, we're given this window. Then under this window, we have to come here and select who is paying us. Let's say probably it's Schweppes Chiredzi. So it will show that we have got those invoices which we issued there. Then here now we have to specify the amount they are paying. If they are paying 2,000, we've got 3 invoices, but let's say probably they're just doing a part payment of 2,000. We have to put that 2,000. Then we select the date on which they made the payment. Then down here, we can put a reference. It could be the invoice. It could be anything, a reference from the bank. Then here, where was the money or where is the money deposited? If it is the cash bank, Cabs Bank, USD, Nostro, we put in that. If it is another bank account, we put in that account, right? Then we are done. We are ready to save and close. So basically, this is how we record a payment from a customer. No other way. This is how we record the payment. I'm not going to save and close this. I'm just going to clear this so that I don't save anything. Then after having done all this, we may want to print a customer statement. We just have to come here and click on customers. Then we come on create statements. Now, when we click on that, we are given this window, right, where we can create customer statements. So here we have to select the accounts receivable account. Because we have got the 2 currencies. We have got the USD. We have the ZWL. So you have to select which AR or accounts receivable account you want to see. In this case, we want to see the USD. Then here you have to select the statement date, which could be today's date. It doesn't matter. But here now you have to select the period which is covered by this statement. Depending on the transaction that you want to see, you can go as far back as you want as the starting date. Then you also have to show or select up to which date do you want to see, right? Then normally you can tick to see or open transactions, but normally just say don't activate. There is no need to activate that. Use these dates, right? Then if you want to see all customers, you just tick there. But normally we say you can view per customer. Like in this case, we just want to see for this particular customer who is Schweppes. So we select that customer. Then we can either print or we first of all have to preview. So when we preview, we're given that statement which shows that balance brought forward was 0. Then we did those invoices for them, which gave a balance which is sitting on their account of that much. So this statement can be done and sent to the customer as a follow-up for payment. So basically, that's what is done under the customers tab. Under the customers tab. Now, if you wanted to delete any transaction or any invoice, any quotation, right? Like for quotations, you will just come here. You just need to know how to do this. Then normally it launches this window, right? If you are familiar with the invoice that you want to delete, you could either look it up using these arrows. You see these arrows which I'm using here. So you could look it up using these arrows, right? Okay, but if there are many quotations or invoices, you just now have to come and click on find, right? So when you click on find, you can then select the customer. Let's say probably I want to select this customer. Then you can either specify the dates, right? Or you can just leave everything blank. Then you click on find. Normally what it will do is it will bring the quotations that were done for that particular customer, right? So you can see we just have got two here. The one I just did recently and the other one which was done on 10 April. So if I wanted to delete this one, I could just select this and load it up, right? Then I come here on delete, then I just click on delete, then I say okay. So what it does is that quotation is deleted. So this is how you do it. Either you find, was probably there are too many, and for you to be using these arrows to move between these quotations, it may take you a bit of time. So you may just want to delete, to find, then you delete. So basically, that's what you do under customers. This is what we do under customers. Now, we're going to vendors. Vendors are our suppliers. These are people who are giving us services on account or products on account. If ever we have those, we then have to create them. So first of all, we say vendors, then you say vendor center, then you are taken to this window, then you click on new vendor, then new vendor. You then put in the details, just like what you did with customers. You're putting in the details here. If it is a company, vendor name, company name, and you're putting all these other details, including the address down here. And don't forget to select the currency. Once you're happy, you then click on OK to save the vendor. Now, once the vendors have been created and are now in your system, I've said these are people who are giving a service on account, on credit. In other words, we are not paying there and there. That's why we are creating these vendors. Otherwise, if we do not deal with on credit, if we just buy our things cash, there is no need for us to do this process. Now, after creating the vendor, you then can enter bills. In other words, you're saying probably you've bought your items on credit, or you have received a service on credit. Like in this case, we created a Chired seat cancer. It means now you can enter bills. In other words, you are receiving a service from Chired seat cancer, but you're not paying them there and there. In other words, you're not paying them cash. Probably you take 30 days or whatever days to pay them. So we are selecting the vendor. Like in this case, it will be Chired seat cancer. Then Chired seat cancer, what it does, it gives us a service. So under here, we've got two tabs: expenses tab, items tab. But now we have to select what? The expenses tab. Then in this case, it will be utilities. Then we have to come here and put in the amount depending on how much you have been charged according to the bill that we have. So this could be your water and rates for 2024, right? So basically, this could be the memo or the description of what we have been offered by Chired seat cancer, right? So, and rates. So once we are happy, we then just click on save and close. We have created a bill. By so doing, it means we have created a bill, we have recorded an expense, but we have also created the seat of Chired. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to clear. Now, when it comes time to pay Chired seat cancer, we just have to come here under vendors, then we pay bills, right? When we say pay bills, we're given this window. Then what it will do is it will list all the bills that are outstanding. In this case, at the moment, we don't have any. So it will list, then our job will be to select the bill that we want to pay. Then we have to specify down here where we are paying from, which account are we using to pay that bill. And once we are okay, we will click on, I want to show you, we'll click on pay selected bills. Right now it's sort of grayed out because we don't have any bills there, but you find once we have inputted some bills, that is, if they are there, it will activate that field, then we can click on pay selected bills. So basically that's what we do under bills. Then under banking, okay, under employees, we do nothing there because that one, this one relates to the United States. Then under banking, we write checks under banking. So we write checks mostly for expenses. This is for cash expenses. So we've got this cash expenses, right? If we buy items using cash, we also do that. So we have to select the bank we are paying from. Like in this case, it will be CAPS. Then if it is an expense, we tick on this tab, right? We can pay to the order of, we can select the people who are paying to. In this case, yes, if you've got a new one who is not listed here, you just click on add new. Then you click that particular person or company that you are paying. Then if it is an expense that you are paying, we click on expenses. Then down here, we can now come and select the relevant expense that was paid for. Like in my case, utilities, write the description there, put in the amount, then save and close. Right? If it is an item, we then just have to come on items, pick the item that was bought, like let's say Balex, right? Then we put in the cost and everything else. So the quantity as well, the cost and the total will be calculated. So this is how we have to be capturing our cash or those things that we are buying on cash. Now, by so doing, our reports are being created. The effect of this happening is that our reports are being created. So if you were to come to reports, you could see now under company and financials, you can see our profit and loss. You can also see our balance sheet. So if you were to view the profit and loss, you would find it would actually show that we have these sales so far that have been done. We also have got the rent expense of that much. So as we continue capturing our transactions, this reports will be populated and we'll be able. We can also see reports on our balance sheet down here. You can see our balance sheet, right? Balance sheet standard. Then there are also these other reports to do with customers and receivables, reports to do with sales, reports to do with the banking, reports to do with account and taxes, and lots of them. We can explore these and experiment and then appreciate how they work. So basically, that's how your QuickBooks system works. I hope this tutorial gives you an overview of how you operate your QuickBooks. If you've got any other questions, let's talk about them. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching.